Man, Frank Seravalli just keeps on coming in with the heat here. This has been a run for this guy, because over the past few days, there have been articles, podcasts, radio hits from various folks around the hockey world, but none other than Frank Seravalli have given us the scoops and the hot takes that we can go out there and talk the most about. Because today, in this video, we are diving into what Seravalli recently said about the Detroit Red Wings, and how GM Stevie Y could be, or maybe as a matter of fact, is on the hot seat. Now here's the thing. I think a lot of folks would go out there and say, hey, Lego, we didn't really need to have Frank Seravalli tell us this. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious from the way the Red Wings have been performing the past few years, just the expectations versus the reality, how the team has gone about their year-by-year progression, how disgruntled Dylan Larkin was with his commentary at the end of the season, how the Wings were a game away, a day away, a point away from making the playoffs last year, but ultimately not getting anywhere near that this year. Sure, they were in the race for some periods of the season, especially after they hired Todd McLellan, but it wasn't enough to put them fully in, and for them to sustain any sort of winning momentum into April where it mattered the most. You can say that Frank Seravalli doesn't need to tell us any of that in order for us to understand or even come to that conclusion. But nevertheless, Seravalli did go out there and speak about this on the latest episode of the Daily Face-Off Live show, which is why we're going to go over and read this article by Julian Trecker on RedWingsInsider.com, talking about Seravalli unveiling Stevie Y's spot on the hot seat. The article is being referred to here because they transcribed the commentary from Seravalli on the show, which is also in the piece, so if you want to watch that in full, you can do that. But Seravalli goes on to the Daily Face-Off Live show and says this: he believes that Yzerman must make moves this summer to help the team get to the next level. The insider stated that Detroit already has players like Cayden and Tarasenko who can bring the finishing touches to a team, but no players who can actually get you there, or at least help the younger guys lead to the promised land. In his own words, Seravalli says here, I think that Yzerman has no choice but to be aggressive. I think we've gone this far in the Yzer plan that they need to show significant progress. I thought a significant move in bringing in Todd McLellan, who appeared to buoy this team for a bit of time after Boxing Day, and then they fell off again. I think they've made the mistake of putting the cart before the horse. You see, Patrick Kane, he was fine last season, but that's a whipped cream on a sundae. Vladimir Tarasenko is a cherry on top. Those are for contending teams, not teams that are trying to break in and beat playoff teams. You've got to have young players that are part of your core that can help get you there. Yes, you need veteran support, but it has to be more than that. With all their young players, the team should be in a great position. Analysts and experts are starting to see that Yzerman has made a few mistakes, and it could lead to him being in the hot seat in the coming years. So, I think the main point is reasonable here, but I'm so intrigued as to the language that Seravalli uses to articulate it. The guy's always been kind of interesting with the way he uses certain phrases, but with this one, Patrick Kane is the whipped cream on a sundae, and Vladimir Tarasenko is the cherry on top. You know, as odd as it is, I kind of get it here. It's not that a Vladimir Tarasenko is going to turn the Detroit Red Wings of all teams from a pretender to a contender, or even from a borderline wildcard team to a top 3 spot in the division type team. But he is the kind of player to go on to Florida and help them take that final step into winning the Stanley Cup. Patrick Kane, probably a little bit better than Tarasenko at this point in their careers, but he's not necessarily the guy to turn your team from a pretender to a contender either. He is an immediate game-breaking player, playing the last few years of his NHL career with significant value, but a guy who is a very good complementary top piece to a team that already has so much going for it. The Red Wings, with Seider, Raymond, Edvinsson, okay, there's a lot of potential there. I'm not going to discredit what these guys are capable of at all. I mean, they're good players, but the rest of the lineup just is not it. With all the bargain bin hunting we had seen Detroit end up going through, the Andrew Kopps, the JT Compers, the Justin Halls, the Petries, the Sherratts, everybody else there, Justin Hall. And did I mention Justin Hall? There have been so many decisions the Wings have made, so many players they have acquired that just didn't really have a big impact on the team and their procedure. And so now you're looking at it like, yeah, it's been a few years. The team isn't really that much better compared to when this whole Yzer plan started. And yeah, they do have young guys. They have amazing talented pieces that are going to help them inevitably become great. Raymond, you can never doubt that guy. Larkin is already there too, but you got to remember, man, Larkin is 6 years older than Lucas Raymond, and Raymond is 23. Larkin is already in that late 20s era. His prime is already passing by as the Wings' window of opportunity has barely opened up right now. Yeah, sure, they got pieces that can help him out like Kane and Tarasenko, but I like that analogy now that I think about it more. These guys help out an already contender caliber team into being cup contenders. They're not necessarily the guys to take a bottom 10 team and make them a wildcard team. That's just unfortunately not how it's going to work out. And so with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, whether or not you think Yzerman, in Seravalli's words, has no choice but to be aggressive and to try to make things work for the Detroit Red Wings this upcoming year in order to keep players sticking around and happy with the way their seasons have gone. And it's not necessarily, I think, that Yzerman has made quote-unquote mistakes. I guess they are mistakes where it's like, okay, inactivity can also be seen as a mistake, or he made the wrong decision in terms of which direction to go down with this team. But it's not necessarily like any of these guys have been that bad. It's just they don't move the needle as much as they probably should if they are making the money that they are making, especially when you're looking at some of these other middle six, bottom four caliber guys. So, Detroit, man, there's a lot of young talent on the up and up, but how long can you wait for Sebastian Cossa? How long can you wait for Axel Sandin Pellikka? Dylan Larkin's already in his late 20s, and that guy's already getting frustrated here. So, Red Wings fans, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Frank Seravalli's commentary on Steve Yzerman, and whether or not you agree with the notion that Stevie Y is indeed on the hot seat. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.